Hit some anytime goal scorers as well as safe shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some frickin' money. It's time for Puck It with Jo. It is finally here. Happy October 7th, you guys. It's time for Puck It with Jo. We're back for what? The 5th season here to Puck It, and I'm so excited for things to kick off. We got three great games today to go over. We're going to go over each of these games, looking at some props, sides, totals that I'm liking. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm so glad to see you guys jumping back in here. Let's do it for another year. I've waited so long. It's felt like an eternity, and it's time to make some freaking money. It's so great, Vinny and Mo, to see you guys back here for the kickoff of this show. Like clockwork, you guys didn't go anywhere. And I know we changed the time. We're going to try to do it 1 p.m. Eastern. Now, I've got that it's weekdays, 1 p.m. Eastern. We will try to get the games because of the earlier starts on the weekend. I'm just going to play around with that time slot where we're going to put it. So bear with me. I will run for every single day of the season like I did last year. Anything, if I'm, traveling or if anything comes up, I will do a pre-recorded Puck It with Jo. I'll let you know when those pre-recorded Puck It with Jo's drop so that you guys in the chat know that I'm just not ignoring you. I hate that when you watch something that's normally live and interactive, but we are interacting. Make sure you drop those questions, those comments in the live chat here. I'm going to put your comments on the stage so that you can see them as they pop up. Everyone can see each other's chats. And if you're watching on X, come on over to YouTube. I want to interact with you guys. So 3 games. I didn't do futures this year, you guys. The hockey season is so freaking long. Wrapping up your money for the whole season just seems pointless to me. I do think there's so many opportunities to make some money. There's so many chances of player injuries out there on the ice that can be devastating to a team. So while I've loved to do win totals before, you guys know that we had that preview show before. I'm just not up for it this year. I really do think we're going to make some better money this year, just focusing out there on looking at the individual times as I try to get my set up exactly how I like it. But it's going to be a great show. Let's jump into the first game, and we're going to try to condense things a little bit. Now, no graphics today, but I promise you guys I'll start getting those banners and everything rolling because I know a lot of these NHL names, they're just a little bit to remember, and writing them down will help. So let's jump into it. The Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Florida Panthers is our first game. Hitting the ice tonight, you guys. This is a 5 p.m. Eastern puck drop. So we got an early one here. Normally on a Tuesday, we wouldn't see that 5 p.m. Eastern puck drop. Closer to, that 7 p.m. Right? So things are starting off hot. It's the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Florida Panthers. This is going to be an interesting one. We know the banner is going to be rising in Florida. Can the Florida Panthers hold off that cup final hangover? The hangover is real, you guys, but this is a team that has proven that hangover really doesn't hit them hard. They're going to be raising that banner, but 2 major injuries on this team do cause concern. But you look at the depth, right? We've got Matthew Tkachuk out till probably December is tentative right now. And then we've got Barkov out for the season. Devastating knee injury for Barkov. We look at the Chicago Blackhawks, and this is a major game for them here. Kev, the ice is freaking back, and I'm so glad you're back here with me with Puck It with Jo. Oh, before I forget, you guys, over on Splash Sports, I'm running an NHL player point streak survivor. If you want in, deadline is on Saturday for that before the Saturday action kicks off. The link is above and below this video on YouTube. But the Chicago Blackhawks versus the Florida Panthers. Let's dig into this. Let's dig into the lines. Let's look at where some money should be going. So we're looking at total 5.5 minus 118 to the over, minus 104 to the under. The Florida Panthers are almost a $3 favorite in this one. This team has so much depth, you guys, that even with the injury concerns, you got to think they're going to come out strong in this. They're minus 285 on the money line, minus 1.5 on that puck line at minus 110, while the Chicago Blackhawks plus the 1.5 is minus 110 and plus 30 if you can see the upset coming. Now, I do think this game starts off hot. You guys know I love those first period bets. I'm looking for the first period over 1.5 goals. It's coming in at minus 122. But I do think at the end of the day, Florida should cover that puck line. Minus 110, do I want it? No. What I'm hoping is a live betting situation if Chicago can find a way with Connor Bedard to go up first in the first period. Couple really interesting points to note. So we got the banner raising night here in Florida. This team, like I said, is loaded with depth. You got Sam Reinhart, Sam Bennett, Verhaeghe. They've got to really step up. With Matthew Tkachuk and Barkov out of the lineup, we know that. We do know Reinhart and Verhaeghe both have the ability to score 30 goals a season, and I do think they have that ability in this season to come out and really be those powerhouses. They're on the top power play, and I'm looking for them to have that step up this season. Sam Reinhart had 39 goals last season. Sam Bennett, Brad Marchand as well. You're looking at a loaded team here. The depth of this team is undeniable. And when we look at the Chicago Blackhawks, you've got Connor Bedard. He's looking to make another step up after what we saw out of him last season. 67 points last season, 44 of those coming via assists. The Chicago Blackhawks are a young team rebuilding, looking to start the season off strong. Now, this is where it gets interesting, the goaltending. Spencer Knight now with Chicago. Guess where he came from? Yeah, he came from Florida. And in return, Chicago gave Seth Jones to the Florida Panthers. You've got two players here versus their former team. Seth Jones, a defenseman out here for Florida, once on Chicago last season, and Spencer Knight was the backup goaltender in Florida last season. Spencer Knight rolling in here with a 908 save percentage and a 2.64 goals against average over his past 24 games. First start versus his former team. Big night for him here. And when we look at the other side in net, you got Bobrovsky. You know how strong Bobrovsky is, one of the best goaltenders in the league. He's got a 2.44 goals against average from last season. He is trustworthy between the pipes, but Bobrovsky getting up in age. I believe he's 37. Don't quote me on that. And to anyone over 37, I apologize for saying up in age, but he is for a goaltender out there. I wonder if he starts this season off a little bit slow. The Panthers are going to have to step up defensively to contain this young, fast talent out here of Chicago. Now, the Florida Panthers are the better team. Don't get me wrong. The Chicago Blackhawks, so this is a big game for them. You know, watching the NFL, when those upsets are going to come, it is in that first game of the season when one team really gets up to take on another. And this is one of the worst teams in the league from last year taking on the team that hoisted the cup. So they're going to have that extra drive in this game to keep things tight. Now, the head coach here for the Florida Panthers, Paul Maurice, system really emphasizes that puck possession out there in the forechecking, which is going to be crucial, absolutely crucial for them to neutralize that fast young talent over on Chicago. And you're going to see that as this game goes on. I think that first period will be hard, though. So that is why I suggest if you like Florida, don't lay the puck line. I think a live betting opportunity will come. I do think in this first period, we're going to see both of these teams get on the board. My hopes is Chicago gets on the board first. We're going to see that line drop, and that's something you guys have to watch this season. That line movement once the books overreact to that first goal. If Chicago comes out here and scores super quick, we're going to see that line movement, and we're going to see Florida at a better price. At minus 285, I don't want to touch it. The puck line minus 1.5 at minus 110, it's just not worth it for me. So I just don't like it, you guys, but I do think we're going to see the back and forth swings in this game, and you will get a better line here on the Florida Panthers. So I said Barkov's out for the season, Tkachuk back, probably December. We have seen the Florida Panthers win their last 8 meetings at home versus Chicago. They find a way to get things done. But I think this one just starts off hot and fast. So give me the over 1.5 in the first period. That's coming in at minus 122. So that's the over 1.5 goals. Then a live betting situation if Chicago takes it. Now, you could play on Seth Jones for the point for the Florida Panthers versus his former team. I'm looking to see if we've got any goalie props out right now, you guys. I do think this one cruises over that total of 5.5. But when we look at these goalies, it's really interesting. So Bobrovsky coming in at 20.5 for his saves at minus 132. I do think Chicago gets enough shots in this game. Like I said, they're going to be hungry. Bobrovsky will face over 20.5 shots. I really do think this is going to be the game where you want to look at Chicago to be firing at will. And we know Bobrovsky is strong enough. I expect the Chicago Blackhawks to put 25, 26 shots on Bobrovsky. I don't expect him to allow more than 3 in. So if we're looking at that, and we're looking at a 4-3, this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at a 4-3 win here for the Florida Panthers, right? So we get that 4-3 win in this matchup. And we see the Chicago get 26 shots. Bobrovsky's still going to go over the 20.5. Again, it's juicy at minus 132. We're looking at Spencer Knight over 28.5 at minus 104. I do think we're going to see Florida hungry to hit their old teammate here. And I think Spencer Knight can do enough in this game to go over that number. So I am going to play on both of those props. They weren't up earlier before this show. They're up now. So let's freaking go. Irish King, seeing you back here. So excited for it. And big sis Lisa, thank you so much. I've been seeing you on all of the shows as of late. Really appreciate you for jumping in on this one here. Say hi to your brother Joey as well. Yeah, they're a young, inexperienced Chicago Blackhawks team for sure, but one that's going to be hungry. Yeah, there's just no value on the Panthers. There's way too much juice. We are going to talk about Mike Sullivan versus his former team. It's going to be great. That's the next game we are jumping in on in just a minute here. So big sis Lisa coming at us with those facts, with those coaches, and I absolutely love it. That's going to be an emotional one, both for Pittsburgh and New York, with the coaches, with the players against their former coach as well. But the Chicago Blackhawks versus the Florida Panthers, like I said, I would look at both goalies to the over. I'm going to look at the over 1.5, but there is one player that I've really got circled out here. It is Connor Bedard. You look at Connor Bedard, 44 assists last season, total 67 points. His anytime goals plus 240. His point tonight, it's juicy at minus 128. That's getting too high for me. His 2+ points, so is plus 420. I do think Connor Bedard is part of what is happening out there. You got Frank Nazar as well and Renzel coming out, Sam Renzel. I think the young talent is going to be fired up for this matchup. So I would look at Bedard. So when we look at those lineups here, let's just pull up the lineup for, and I just bear with me for 1 second as I get the lineup here for the Chicago Blackhawks. I just want to go over where we're seeing the players on this team, who's on that top power play as well for you guys. So when we look at Chicago, Connor Bedard, he centers the top line, right? So you have him there. You've got Tara Vinen. You know he was a huge play on. He's on that line with Frank Nazar and Tyler Bertuzzi. That second line is going to be dangerous as well. So while the top line, Ryan Donato there on the left wing with Connor Bedard in the center, I do think, and Burakovsky on the right wing, I do think we have scoring depth in both of those lines. So let's look at the defensive pairings. So Renzel is on that top defensive pairing. So that would be on the same line as Donato and Bedard. But what I'm interested in is where they come with those power plays. We know Florida took some penalties last season, and I do think some penalties will come. So on your top power play unit, you have Tyler Bertuzzi, Nazar, Taro, Vine, Bedard, and Renzel. I would look at Renzel and Bedard to be able to get points together. Like if you're looking at those parlay combinations, that's where I would go with those. You know Tyler Bertuzzi is going to come out strong out of the gate, Nazar, and Tara Vinen. So I think all 5 of those guys that are in the top power play unit, they're on the top 2 lines and on the top 2 the defensive lines. They're going to be impactful in this game for the Chicago Blackhawks. So play around with them. Renzel for his shots, if you like the Blackhawks taking over 23 shots. Yeah, Mo, I would definitely look at Renzel for his shots. He's able to get strong shots from that blue line as well. And I do think he's going to come out and be able to do that for us in this one. Okay, that's where we're going with that game. Again, I think Bedard is going to be the 2+ points at plus 420 out there. So it just depends if you want to look at who else is on the power play with him, with Renzel, if you want to look at that top line for him out there. And then if you're looking at the top line, you look at Ryan Donato. So Ryan Donato could get the goal and Connor Bedard could get the assist out there because we know Bedard loves to set him up. So that is that game. If you're looking for the lineups for, let's just look at the lineups for Florida. 1 second as I pull them up, you guys. You do have Verhaeghe and Sam Bennett and Brad Marchand still on that top line. Lundell is questionable for today's game, but I do think he plays. We got Sam Reinhart on the right wing of Lundell at the center. And then you've got, like I said, this team has so much depth. Rodriguez centers the third line. It's phenomenal out there. You got Forsling and Ekblad. I couldn't believe the talent that they were able to keep on. Now, Seth Jones, like I said, moving over from Chicago, is now on that second defensive pairing with Mikkola. So that's going to be super strong out there. And your top power play unit is Sam Reinhart, Sam Bennett, Brad Marchand, Seth Jones, and Aaron Ekblad. I would look at Sam Bennett and Aaron Ekblad for the power play points tonight. I do think both are coming to play. Seth Jones versus his former team, though, that power play point definitely should be something that is cashing. Let's move on to the next game. Like I said, you guys, I'm going to try to keep Puckett with Joe a little shorter this year. It's hard for me because, I love to talk freaking hockey with you guys. The New York Rangers first period, lay and a half a goal. And the team total to the over. Irish King, what are you getting for the team total? I do think those goals are coming tonight in this matchup. I'm looking at this game to go over the total as a whole. So when we look at this game here, as I pull it up, you guys, I'm just giving you guys the odds from FanDuel. The Pittsburgh Penguins are a plus 190 dog here, rolling into New York. Minus 235 for the New York Rangers. Total of 6.5. Now the juice is coming to the under at minus 134. I think the juice is the wrong way of this matchup. It's plus 110 to the over, and I do think we can get over the 6.5 goals. I look for offenses to be a step ahead of the defenses, and a lot of these players are coming out to make a statement tonight. So looking at this game, looking at the storylines, Big Sis Lisa called it out. We have first-time NHL coach here, Dan Muse, for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Okay, so who did he take over? He took over for Mike Sullivan. The ex-head coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins is now the head coach of the New York Rangers. This is going to be an emotional one for him, for his old players as well, and for his new as a whole. I do think we're going to see a game that's action-packed, a game that starts off hot and fast. There is a caution, though, for the last 5 meetings have gone under the total in New York, in Madison Square Garden, but I'm not seeing it in this one. We know the defense and the goaltending issues that we saw of the Pittsburgh Penguins last year. Their big three are back. You got Sidney Crosby, Malkin, and Letang all returning to this lineup. So many of you questioning if Sid the Kid would be a Pittsburgh Penguin this year. I couldn't even imagine the Pittsburgh Penguins without him. You've also got Raquel, Rust, Carlson. This team has all the talent on paper. They just need to find a way to convert it. Now, their road record last season was dreadful, and that was one of the major reasons why Mike Sullivan was shipped off. They went 3-9 in their final 12 road games last year, finishing 13, 21, and 7 overall away from home. Just terrible numbers out there on the road. This was a team that could get up hard and fast and then lose the leads late in that third period. It was a heartbreaker out there. Now, Tristan Jarry struggled in net last season. They tried to put him on waivers. It didn't work. No one picked up Jarry. So Jarry is back. Should be between the pipes tonight. Last season going 16, 12, and 6 with a 3.12 goals against average and an .893 save percentage in 36 games. So just not the way he wanted to see it. Kristen, good morning. Thank you for always being here and for your support. So looking at that, that's the storyline for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Brand new head coach, first time ever being NHL head coach as well. So Dan Muse has a lot to prove. We know the coaching staff in the NHL turns over like no other. This is a savage league, you guys. And there's going to be no Mike Daniels style coaching where the coaches just get a pass because ownership likes them. So that is definitely something to note. When you look at last season, you look at, first you got to look at Sidney Crosby rolling in here for his 21st season opener. That is huge, you guys. You have Malkin rolling in for his, I believe it's his 20th. These two veteran players have so much experience out there. Sid the Kid, 38 years old, last season putting up 91 points in 80 games. 39 is Malkin, 50 points last season in 68 games, I believe it was. And then their third top scorer last season was Brian Rust with 65 points. Now, he will miss the first couple of weeks here with a lower body injury. He's going to be great once he returns. I do think there is a depth of talent we can look at. They have started off first period slow against the Metro opponents. That's a trend. I don't think it's a trend that follows into today. So when we look here at the New York Rangers and what's happening, like we said, Mike Sullivan, once the coach of the Penguins, he knows these players. He knows Sid. He knows Malkin. He knows what gets under their skin, and he's going to bring it today with the New York Rangers. The Rangers looking definitely for that bounce back season this year. They're a strong defensive group with great goaltending. They should be able to, if they get a step up from their power forwards, to be able to make a run for the playoffs again this season. So you got JT Miller, now named captain. You got Zibanejad, you got Panarin, you got Kreider, you've got Lafreniere. You've got so much talent on this team. They need to convert. And then you've got the defense led by Adam Fox. You guys know I love those defensive players, not only out there on the ice, but on the field. And then you've got Igor Shesterkin in net. Igor Shesterkin needs a stronger season than we saw last season. He went 27, 29, and 5 last season with a 2.86 goals against average and a 905 save percentage. He needs a better season. Yes, that save percentage sounds great, but going 27, 29, and 5, we expect more out of Igor Shesterkin. He needs the support offensively to counter those goals that are coming in. He needs a stronger one for sure. And then you have Jonathan Quick backing him up. 20th season out here for Jonathan Quick. And his numbers looked a lot stronger last season as a backup. So solid backup numbers for Jonathan Quick. Igor Shesterkin, I'm looking for a little bit of improvement. It's just those games that he lost with some really dirty ones out there. Now, when we look, I told you the road record of Pittsburgh going 3-9 in its final 12 games out there on the road, and then 13, 21, and 7. It's not like the Rangers had this ultimate advantage on home ice last season. They went 19, 19, and 3 at Madison Square Garden. I expected a lot more out of them at home. This was why they missed the playoffs, right? Like, they needed to take advantage of their home ice, that last change out there on the ice. And again, I think here we're going to see improvements under Mike Sullivan. Mike Sullivan with last change, he is so strong when he has that last change. He was able to get the Penguins to get those wins at home, just wasn't able to convert on the road. So something to note when you look at the Rangers as they go out on the road, if Mike Sullivan will have those same issues coaching the New York Rangers as he did with the Pittsburgh Penguins. But there's 2 injury concerns. Both are listed still on your prop bets with Panarin and JT Miller. I do think they're going to play tonight, giving us that step up. Panarin led the New York Rangers last season with 89 points in 80 games. So he was averaging, a point per game, basically. Yes, he got 89. So the couple of those, he got 2 points, couple he got 3. JT Miller had 35 points in only 32 games for the New York Rangers. Remember, he did change over from Vancouver, from the Canucks. So JT Miller looking to, get in full swing starting the season here with this team. And JT Miller, one thing to note, if he's on the faceoff, which he took the majority of those faceoffs for the New York Rangers, he is able to dominate that faceoff. So definitely a strong point to look at for him. So when we look at the lines out here, I'm going to pull up the lines for these teams, you guys, and what we're seeing between them. So firstly, let's start with the Pittsburgh Penguins and the lineups we're looking at. We're looking at Raquel on the left wing of Sidney Crosby. I think that line combo with a point for Raquel and Sidney Crosby, definitely worth a look. We have Mantha on the left wing of Malkin. Now, this is something interesting. I do have a trend for Mantha here for his goal scoring. He scored a goal in 3 of the last 4 appearances against the Rangers. So Mantha has been strong at scoring on Igor Shesterkin. That is where we're seeing him get those goals. So Mantha, definitely someone to look at. Now, when we look at Mantha, because he is on that second line, I haven't put the bet in yet, but we're going to get him for a nice price for that goal. If you don't want to look at the goal, I would look at the player point. So looking at Mantha for the goal, it is plus 390 tonight, you guys. Looking at Mantha for the player point, as long as they give it to us, it's plus 158. I would rather take the point tonight for Mantha than the goal, because I do think at plus 158, you still have the value. If you want to take the plus 3 and change for the goal. I don't blame you because he does have that ability to get those goals on the board. But if he starts off a little slow tonight and just gets the assist, I'd rather have the plus money on the assist. Larry, it's been a long time waiting. It does feel like Christmas. I'm so happy to be back here for a Puckett with Joe with you guys. If you guys are watching over on X, come on over to YouTube. I want to hear your questions, your comments, for sure. You don't see the Rangers losing in New York. It's pretty much guaranteed in your eyes. I don't know. I have a hard time with the Rangers with what they did last season at home, but they should be able to pull things together. That's for sure. Okay, so those were the two top lines out there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We're also looking at, you've got Novak down there on the third line on the left wing. You also have Kindell on the center. We've got lots of talent out there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Erik Karlsson, defensive player, is on the top line. You've got Ryan Shea and Chris Letang on the second defensive pairing, and I love that defensive pairing. I think there's so much power there. Your top power play unit is where I really do think we're going to do some damage here versus Igor Shesterkin. You've got Raquel, Sidney Crosby, Malkin, Karlsson, and Letang. Looking at the player line combos for them, Sidney Crosby and Raquel on that top line together. And then you're looking at Malkin and Karlsson. Karlsson is on that top defensive, Chris Letang on the second defensive line. And then you're looking at Raquel coming out there, is on the top line. One more. Who am I forgetting? You're looking at Malkin. Malkin is the guy I was forgetting. He centers that second line. I do think I would leave Malkin out of those combos. I'd put Raquel and Crosby, and then I would look at the combination with Karlsson. So Raquel, Crosby, and Karlsson for a point parlayed together, and then Letang parlayed with Evan Malkin for the point, because I do think on that power play, they have the ability to get the points together. So this is a game. I think those goals are coming in. I like Sidney Crosby for the point for the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's just too juiced alone. His assist is -125. So if you just want to play him for the assist, and again, Chris Letang, the point alone is coming in at +112. I think it's a great way to go, especially being on that defensive pairing and the top power play. I think Letang is your best bet, and Sidney Crosby. Those are my two favorite players in this matchup here. When we look at the New York Rangers, just give me 1 second to pull up their lineups for you guys. I do think the Rangers are going to have the ability to really make a step up this season. So looking at this, good to see you again too, Hall. I'm trying to read your comments and get these lines for you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you for being back here. The top power play unit for the New York Rangers is going to be killer. You've got JT Miller, Panarin, Trocheck, Zibanejad, and Adam Fox. I love this top power play unit. I think Adam Fox coming out here on the top defensive pairing is your defensive player you want to look at to make some waves in this game. I'm looking for him to be taking those shots from the blue line and really coming out strong. JT Miller centers the top line with Zibanejad on his right wing. And then you got Panarin, left wing of the second line, Trocheck in that center. You have all four of those players on that top power play ability to make some waves. JT Miller and Zibanejad to come out nice and strong. We know Zibanejad heated up at one point late in last season. I would look for him to continue that. JT Miller now with that captain logo, I do think has the ability to make that step up. Now, JT Miller and Panarin, not 100%. So if you just want to look at Zibanejad and then look further down the list and look at Adam Fox for a point, it's going to get you great plus money. You can bet them separately. But this one just equals the points for me, you guys. This total, let me just pull up the odds in this game one more time. So the Pittsburgh Penguins are +190. The New York Rangers -235. Total 6.5. Give me the over 6.5 at +110. We took the first period over 1.5 in that last game. And I do think this one has the ability to go over 1.5 quick and fast because, well, goaltending I just don't trust as much in this game. But let's look at the first period over 1.5 goals. A goal in the first 5 minutes is something I could see coming. It's coming in at +156. Let me just look for the first period. Total goals over 1.5 -144. That's why I didn't bet it, Couldn't remember why I didn't bet this one. The over 1.5 in the first period, way too highly juiced. If we don't see those goals in the first period, you guys, when we actually see goaltending standing tall, the live betting opportunity will be there for us to come in on a live total over the 5.5. I do think it will drop. You'll also be able to look at the second period over 1.5 goals. You'll be getting a nice price on that. So yeah, Joey, take a nap. Be ready for the ice tonight. It's going to be hot. Let's see those skaters out there nice and fast tonight. I think they're going to be fast. I think the offenses will be a step ahead of the defenses, but our offensive defensemen going to be firing. The last game out there on the board, 10:30 Eastern, a late one for you guys on the East Coast. The Colorado Avalanche taking on the LA Kings. So the LA Kings are the dog in this one. Slight dog, -102. The Colorado Avalanche at -118. Total sitting at 5.5, -130 to the over, +106 if you like this one to the under. I don't know, you guys. Hard one to take to the under, especially when there's a couple of players here from the LA Kings that I'm expecting a big night out of. We know how strong and how solid the offense here is for Colorado. Both of these teams are coming around into this season after being booted in the first round of last season. I couldn't believe both got eliminated there. We know the LA Kings, how they went out in Colorado. You know, they had to face their ex-player Rantanen of the Dallas Stars. So not what they were hoping for. The Avs will have Gabriel Landeskog back in this lineup for the regular season for the first time in a hot minute. So they're going to be happy to have him. You know, Nathan MacKinnon here of Colorado, the powerhouse that he brings. He's had 116 points last season. Cale Makar rolling in with 92 points. Offensive defenseman. That is a player that I can get behind for his points on the nightly. You also look at him. He did get defensive player last year with the Norris Trophy. So top defenseman out there on the ice. When we look at the LA Kings, Kempe, he was just phenomenal. 73 points, 35 goals. He is heading into a contract year, so keep your eyes out for Kempe to really run it up this season. They want to be paid the most that they can be paid. He's going to put the effort in and night out. And then you've got Kopitar. Well, what's so special about Kopitar? You say, well, not only is he on that top line with Kempe, not only did he make us money last year, but this is his last season playing. It's heartbreaker, you guys. I can't believe Kopitar has announced this will be his final season in the NHL. And with that, I'm expecting him to get off to a hot start and really care. So between Kempe and Kopitar on that top line, you've also got Kuzmenko. And I think this is going to be a dangerous top line for the LA Kings. Let me just pull up their full lineup here. They're full where we're seeing players tonight, because remember, these do change on the nightly, especially with injuries or if coaches are looking to change things up. So always make sure you check those lineup. We've got Kuzmenko on the left wing centering, Kopitar, and on the right wing you have Kempe. The power between all of those guys. And then you drop down to that second line. The LA Kings, I've got a soft spot for you guys. I know I'm a Flames fan, right? But the Kings, there's something about this team. You've got Fiala and Byfield on that second line. They can do some damage. On the third line, Trevor Moore, definitely a player you want to watch for his points as well. Drew Doughty is on the top defensive pairing with Mikey Anderson. That is a solid defensive pairing out there. And Cody Ceci added to this team. Cody Ceci will be on your your third defensive line. So solid there. That top power play unit is Kuzmenko, Kopitar, Byfield, Fiala, and Kempe. Definitely somewhere you want to look at. Drew Doughty is on that second power play unit, and the kill unit is Moore, Doughty, Anderson, and Denault. It's gonna be a solid season for the LA Kings. I'm looking for this team to really grind out some of these games. I have a hard time taking this one to the under because of what I think I'm going to get out of the LA Kings, and Colorado's going to answer back. And then we look at goaltending. So Darcy Kuemper was the reason they were able to get to the playoffs last season. Darcy Kuemper was so strong. He has 921 save percentage coming into this season. On the other side, Mackenzie Blackwood was so solid for the Colorado Avalanche, a 913 save percentage. You also have Scott Wedgwood. I did hear that Scott Wedgwood would be in goal tonight. I'm just seeing if We're seeing that over on the books. Yeah, we are. Scott Wedgwood, not Mackenzie Blackwood in net. So Scott Wedgwood has a prop of 23.5. Darcy Kemper coming in with 23.5 as well. Difference between that is it's juiced to the over for Darcy Kemper and it's juiced to the under for Scott Wedgwood. We know Colorado will be firing and they're going to be firing at will. This is one of the teams that gets those shots. The LA Kings get those shots too, but they do take a couple of minutes sometimes to put those shots on net. So if you're looking at one of them, I would look at Darcy Kemper. I would look at Scott Wedgwood for his save. No, Darcy Kemper. I'm looking at Darcy Kemper here for his save shots. Remember, Darcy Kemper did play for Colorado. That's where my brain's flip-flopping on that answer there. He is now with the LA Kings. So he'll be against his former team. I really do like his ability out here. We have seen the Colorado Avalanche win the last 6 on the road as a favorite versus the Kings. But I think this is a player prop one, and the big player that I'm really circling here is Kopitar. 2+ points for Kopitar coming in at plus 360, the goal at plus 320, 2 goals at plus 3,000. The Hattie, well, if you can find the Hattie on any of your books, let me know what you're getting for the Hattie. I haven't been able to shop these lines. I went in to put the Hattie in and it wasn't there. It would definitely worth the sprinkle. So if you can find it, the 3+ points I did bet though at plus 1,300. We look at Kopitar. We look at him. He's coming into the season. This is his last NHL opener, right? He's saying he's retiring. Could he change his mind? Yeah, absolutely. But he's going in with the mindset that this will be his last season in the NHL. I look at what he's been able to do, and he's been able to come out strong in these openers. This is where he shines straight out of the gate, you guys. You look at him last season in the opener versus the Buffalo Sabres. He was able to get the Hattie. Those goals, a couple of them came late in that third period when it was clinch time to be able to get them. Kopitar always steps up. So I took Kopitar for the 2+ points at plus 360, the goal at plus 320, 2+ goals at plus 3,000, and the 3+ points at plus 1,300. So I had 4 prop bets there on Kopitar. If he doesn't show up tonight, the total of those 4 bets only added up to a unit. So 1/4 of a unit on all 4 in case he doesn't show up. And then it's just like 1 loss instead of 4 losses. So be careful with that. But the line combo prop, I love. Kempe, Kopitar, Kuzmenko on that top line. They are all showing up tonight here. And I do think they're going to find Scott Wedgwood's net. So look at Kempe, Kopitar, and Kuzmenko for a point parlayed together at plus 214. That was a full unit bet on this one. We got a new member over here on my YouTube. Thank you so much, Goran, for being here today and for always supporting. We are back. That is for sure. He bleeds goals. Yeah. Wedgwood does bleed the goals. So we're going to see Kempe, Kopitar, and Kuzmenko really lighting things up. We got some good stuff in today for sure. Bob and Igor over 20.5 saves. Over 20.5 saves, over 23.5 saves. I like it. So Bob over that, Igor over that. I do think both of those goaltenders should be able to get over those numbers. Again, I think offenses are going to have a step up. It's going to depend on how these goaltenders show up. Scott Wedgwood would be the weakest goaltender, in my opinion, of the whole day. So if you're looking at that, you could also look at Tristan Jarry to have a bad day out here. But the amount of shots that are coming, I think these goaltenders should be able to go over those numbers. They look a little light, right, out there on the books. 3 guys for 2+ points. Kopitar for sure. Okay, 2+ points. Give me Kopitar, give me Connor Bedard, and give me Sid the Kid. I think all 3 of those players, that feels like an easy one to me. Let me know who you guys are liking for 3+ points or 2+ points, 3 players. So Bedard, Connor Bedard, Chicago Blackhawks, Sid the Kid for the Pittsburgh Penguins, and then Kopitar for the LA Kings. I think those are your 3 that are going to be able to get 2+ points tonight. Round robin them too, I would think. I do think at least 2 of the 3 hit. My biggest concern would be Sid the Kid, but I do think Sid, 38 years old, knowing that, his time, I don't know, it's kind of limited out there, but is it? Sid feels like he's going to play forever. He's going to show up nice and strong. But those are the bets today, you guys. Again, I love the prop bets in this game here. Oh, we didn't look at Colorado's lineup. Wanted to mention that. to you guys as well. We've got our Terry Lankinen on the left wing centering Nathan MacKinnon and Martin Necas there for the Colorado Avalanche. That is a powerhouse top line. Then you got Gabriel Langeskov back in the lineup on the left wing with Brock Nelson and Valeri Nichushkin on the second line. Talk about power. And then Ross Colton, left winger Ross Colton for Colorado. He is strong, you guys. Look at his point tonight. Let's go to Ross Colton for the point before I forget to talk about this. I don't have it in, but this is a bet that I'm going to be getting in right after if I can find it. Ross Colton, one of those players that when we get him, he makes us money, and sometimes the books don't have him. I'm not seeing Ross Colton listed over on my book. If you have him on your book, I would look at that. On the power play, I have Nathan MacKinnon for a power play point at plus 145, Cale Makar at plus 185. Both of those two have the ability to get you that power play point. You've got Kopitar down there at plus 290 for the power play point. Colorado took some dirty penalties last season, so we should see that step up. Gabriel Landeskog, that is a nice plus 420 mark for that power play point. So looking at Gabriel Landeskog on the power play, he's on the second power play unit. But I do think that power play unit, and don't forget, we have seen Colorado add Brett Burns. Brett Burns' addition here on the defense, he will be on that second power play unit as well. So I think Colorado has every ability to come out nice and strong in this game as well. It's going to be crazy. And then you got Cale Makar. So Cale Makar is on the top power play unit, and he's on the top defensive line. So Devin Towles and Cale Makar on that top defensive line. You do have Brett Burns on the third defensive line, but on that second power play unit, and then Cale Makar on the first power play unit. Cale Makar is so solid out there. I would look at him for the point on the top unit, and Nathan MacKinnon or Martin Necas. Looking at parlaying both of those. Ross Colton, I can't wait till we see him back up on a power play unit because we were able to make some money with him. So definitely something to look at, you guys. I want to thank you so much for joining me here for Puck It with Jo. The show went longer than I expected. We're always going to go longer. We will be live tomorrow at 11 a.m. my time. I'm Mountain Standard, so that's 1 p.m. Eastern. So we'll see you back here. You got Sam Reinhart anytime goal and Brad for the assist. I like where you're going there. Got Martin down for a point too. Yeah, it's a nice way to go with Martin for the point. Val, 2+ shots. Blake, what are you getting for Valeri Nichushkin for 2+ shots? What kind of value are you getting? So let me know. It's definitely great to be back, you guys. So best bets quickly. I will recap everything here for anyone looking to skip every single day. I'll do the recap at the end, and then we're going to sign off. I promise we'll sign off. Chicago versus Florida, first period over 1.5 goals, minus 122. Florida live bet if Chicago gets the first goal on the board. I want to look at Seth Jones in some capacity versus his former team. For the Florida Panthers, I do think he probably gets a point on the board tonight. I think it's a solid way to go. Then we got Spencer Knight in net for Chicago versus his former team. I'd look at his save shots to the over. I think Florida is going to be peppering him tonight, and he's going to make some great saves. I'll take Connor Bedard at plus 240 for the anytime goal. 2+ points at plus 420, or just a point at minus 128. You guys know I took the 2+ points. And then looking at Pittsburgh versus the New York Rangers, I think this one flies over the 6.5. If it starts off a little slow, you can come back in on this game to the over if it drops to a 5.5. But I think you're going to see a 4-3 win here for one of these teams. I do like Sid the Kid for 2+ points. I think he's in for the assist tonight at minus 125. The 1 point is way too highly juiced. Don't even play around with it. Chris Letang for a point on the defensive side of things at plus 112. He is on the second defensive pairing, and he's on that top power play line. And then Colorado versus the LA Kings. I do think this is going to be one where both goaltenders can go over their save shots on goal. I'm going to look at this one. I'm going to stay off the total because I'm looking for Kopitar to make a huge impact. And then I think Colorado can continue to bring that power as well. So top line combo here for the LA Kings is Kempe, Kopitar, and Kuzmenko. Give me each of them for a point at plus 214. Give me Kopitar for 2+ points at plus 360, the goal at plus 320, the 2+ goals at plus 3,000, and the 3+ points at plus 1,300. Kopitar, again, that's 1 unit on 4 bets, so quarter unit on all of these bets. I don't know. I'm just not playing him today. That is for sure. I'm going to stay off him today, Hall. Natchez there. So the Jays, can the Jays roll into New York and get the win versus the Yankees after what we saw in Toronto? I'm really hoping so. Florida, Colorado, money line for you at plus 100. I don't blame you parlaying them together. Florida has proven they can come in after raising that banner and be able to get it done. But you guys, all the best in all of your bets. I will see you tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's make some freaking money. Until then, stay hot, you guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow.